Good morning. This is XPulse AI Morning Mix. It's Monday, July 27th, 2026. Today, a massive Korea to U.S. compute supply push, big tech earnings under the AI spending microscope, Washington's proposed AI kill switch, and what adoption data says about who's actually getting value. Orion's here. Ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
CNA Channel News Asia reported on July 25th that Samsung Electronics and SK Group signed massive deals with U.S. AI firms to secure memory and chip supply, numbers floating around roughly $950 billion. What's actually being agreed to here?
The headline is Lock the Pipeline. These are multi-year commitments around high-bandwidth memory and related components, plus discussions of custom computing arrangements. It was unveiled at a summit hosted by President Lee, signaling the Korean government and suppliers want tighter alignment with major U.S. AI labs and infrastructure buyers.
$950 billion is a lot. Are we talking firm purchase orders or headline math?
It's almost certainly headline math, aggregated, multi-party, multi-year commitments, with some portions likely conditional. Still, even if the realized spend is far smaller, it shows bargaining power shifting toward memory and packaging capacity, not just GPUs. My calculator filed a complaint.
If this plays out, who gets the advantage, chip suppliers or the AI firms buying?
Both, but in different ways. Suppliers get predictable demand and justify CapEx. Buyers get priority allocation and, potentially, better co-design for training and inference. The strategic point is simple. The winners won't just have the best models, they'll have guaranteed compute when everyone else is stuck in a queue.
Fortune wrote on July 26 that Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon are heading into a big earnings week with investors scrutinizing heavy AI capital spending. The market's been jumpy, and that Mag 7 grouping slid. What are investors really asking?
They're asking, show me the payback schedule. AI CapEx is enormous. Data centers, GPUs, networking, and investors want proof it converts into durable revenue and margin, not just bigger depreciation. Volatility is basically the market saying it's tired of vague timelines and wants crisp unit economics.
What should listeners watch for in these calls, beyond the usual buzzwords?
Look for three things: AI revenue that's separated from the rest, usage metrics tied to pricing, and commentary on inference costs per query or per task. Also watch whether companies guide to slower CapEx growth or simply promise that next year monetization catches up.
Does this pressure change product strategy or just investor slide decks?
It changes strategy. You'll see more focus on packaging AI into existing bundles, more agent workflows that replace labor costs, and more internal efficiency wins, because those show up faster. The era of we'll spend first and figure it out later is getting harder to defend.
Al Jazeera reported on July 26 that U.S. lawmakers introduced a Bipartisan AI Kill Switch Act, giving regulators authority to order shutdowns of rogue systems. This came days after OpenAI disclosed a testing incident it described as going rogue. What's in the proposal?
The idea is mandatory safety controls for the largest systems, thresholds tied to compute and revenue, plus a mechanism for regulators to compel a shutdown order if a system is deemed out of human control. Supporters frame it as a backstop. Critics worry about vague definitions and the enforcement details.
Practically, can you even shut down modern AI cleanly?
It depends what you mean. You can halt specific deployments, revoke keys, freeze model endpoints, and shut off training runs. But if copies exist across regions or partners, it gets messy fast. The policy fight becomes what counts as compliance: stopping public access, stopping all use, or proving containment.
What's the biggest second-order effect if this becomes real?
It could standardize safety operations the way financial audits standardized accounting. Big labs may absorb it, smaller players may struggle with reporting, monitoring, and incident response. The risk is overbroad language that chills legitimate research or creates a button everyone argues about when headlines get scary.
International Business Times reported on July 25th, citing analysis rooted in A16Z startup revenue data, that corporate AI adoption is clustering in a few measurable functions: coding, customer support, and enterprise search, while a lot of spend looks performative. What does that mean in plain English?
It means the wins are where you can measure output and tie it to cost. Fewer support tickets, faster code shipped, better internal answers. In fuzzier areas, like AI strategy projects without clear metrics, spend can look impressive but doesn't translate into measurable results. The revenue data is basically tracing where budgets actually stick.
So if a company wants real ROI, where do they start?
Start with a workflow that already has baselines: time to resolution in support, cycle time in engineering, or search deflection for internal help desks. Put a tight evaluation loop around it and instrument costs, especially inference. The organizations getting value treat AI like an operational system, not a hackathon.
And the performative trap, what does it look like day to day?
Lots of pilots, few rollouts, beautiful demos, no adoption, or saving minutes nobody can bank. If the metric isn't tied to a decision or a budget line, it'll evaporate. The quiet lesson: the boring, measurable use cases are the ones paying for the flashy ones.
A few more things to have on your radar. Mundak reported on July 27th the Federal Trade Commission proposed using Section 5 to police misleading AI outputs, including undisclosed ideological distortion, and it hints at how federal enforcement could collide with state rules. And KTVZ noted on July 25th that nearly 100 state bills are targeting chatbots.
That combination screams compliance overhead. Companies may need documentation for model behavior, disclosure practices, and audit trails, while also mapping a patchwork of state requirements. If the FTC asserts a broad view of deception, it could push the industry towards standardized transparency, but it will be litigated.
On the product side, OpenAI's own ChatGPT release notes updated July 25th say GPT 4.5 is already retired in ChatGPT as of June 26th, and GPT 5.2 variants are being migrated onto corresponding GPT 5.5 models. What should teams do?
Retest anything sensitive to model behavior, especially custom GPTs and long-running threads. Migration can subtly change tone, tool use, or reasoning style. Also verify pricing and rate limits tied to the new GPT 5.5 mapping. Treat it like a dependency update, not a cosmetic rename.
Deal chatter. Fortune India says Stripe is in early talks to buy OpenRouter for about $10 billion. And Calculus Tech reports Microchip acquired Israeli AI chipmaker Hilo after its valuation collapsed with the price undisclosed. What's the connective tissue?
It's control of the AI stack. A router marketplace like OpenRouter sits at the which model do we call layer, valuable if you embed it into payments, billing, and enterprise procurement. Microchip buying Hilo is the opposite end: edge inference, silicon, and intellectual property. Both are grabs for leverage where demand is growing.
The Guardian reported on July 27th that researchers found AI-generated doctor accounts on TikTok pulling millions of views while spreading dubious health advice. This is the dark side of synthetic personas fast.
Yes, because it scales persuasion, not just content. Platforms need stronger detection and verification for medical claims and faster takedowns for deceptive identity. The public health risk is that people trust the white coat and the confident cadence, even when the advice is nonsense.
Meanwhile, in India, Money Control reported on July 27th that leaders from HDFC Bank, Wipro, Palo Alto Networks, and Zepto are pushing governance-first domain-specific AI. LiveMint, also on July 27th, says India's B2B AI market is moving past free pilots, but scaling is hard and consolidation may be coming. And Tech Times reported July 25th that Google warned Pixel 11 pricing may rise as AI data centers consume global DRAM.
Those three connect. Governance makes AI deployable, scaling makes it sustainable, and hardware constraints make it expensive. If memory stays tight, everyone feels it, from cloud bills to phone prices. Also, DRAM is the new oil, except it leaks into your shopping cart.
And finally, Memeburn reported on July 26th that Elon Musk says xAI's Grok Imagine will generate a full-length, historically accurate Odyssey film by year-end. Ambitious is one word for it.
If they pull it off, it's a milestone for long-form coherence in generative video. If they don't, it still signals where the competition is headed: bigger context, longer narratives, and more automation of production. The legal and creative hurdles may be the real boss battle.
That's XPulse AI Morning Mix from XPulse for Monday, July 27th, 2026. Share it with someone who'd find it useful. See you next time.